Welcome once again to How to Relate to Anyone. Here is Dr. Orv Owens.
Well, hello again, and we welcome you to lesson number 2. Trust that lesson number 1 on the motivations was stimulating and gave you some thoughts to chew on for the week between then and now. Today we want to look at first impressions because we only have one chance to make a first impression. There was a study by the Department of Commerce that people will make a decision about you in 5 minutes or less. And once that decision is made, then they will justify the decision with what we call psychological blocks. That would block out anything that would argue with the first impression they had. That's why people can hold a grudge for years, can hate somebody forever because they made a mistake, whatever. And we won't go into too much of the negatives, but on the positives, it's the same thing. There are people that have done some dumb stuff, but you still love them. That's because you made them. A first impression was that this is somebody that I love. This is somebody I appreciate. This is somebody that's important to me. We do this with our children. We do it with our spouse. You know, I don't know about you, but my spouse isn't perfect. But it serves her right because I'm not perfect. And so we have to overlook some of the imperfections. And if the first impression was strong enough, positive, and to cause me to want to marry this lady and cause that lady to want to marry me, we hope that carries over till I'm age 95. Next year about this time. Well, not quite that soon, but soon. So the smallest element of thought is a decision. And those decisions become programmed into our subconscious mind and become fact, even if they might be false information. So it's vitally important in sales or in management or any type of working relationship that the first impression is always positive. You do not want to have to apologize for how you look today. You do not want to have to apologize for your dirty car if you're in the real estate business and you're showing people houses. Excuse my dirty car. You know what they're going to remember? What did you think of that salesman? Oh, he has a dirty car. That's what you're going to remember it for. So remember, the first 5 minutes of any interview or any situation where you're meeting somebody, especially for the first time, decisions are going to be made in 5 minutes or less, so it's vitally important that you make a positive impression. How do you do that? Well, first impressions are lasting impressions, so we want them to be positive. And the best way to make a positive impact on the person you meet is to, instead of making statements, ask questions. People love to talk about themselves, love to talk about their children, love to talk about their job, love to talk about their dog or cat or goldfish. It's interesting when you really take a look at this, how much people will talk about things that of no interest to you at all, but it's a big deal to them. So let them talk about it, and you do it by asking questions. And when they say, well, my dog is one of the best dogs in that breed in this part of the country, won a lot of blue ribbons. Well, what kind of shows do you take the dog to? What kind of competition is the dog in? How old is your dog? Do you have something coming up that's going to replace that dog? Questions like that. People love to talk about things they're interested in. If you will take 5 minutes when you meet somebody new and not make one statement, but make everything a question, you will establish a trust relationship in that 5 minutes. And from that point on, they're going to feel comfortable with you. Comfortable means the psychological blocks that we all carry turn into open-minded. Psychological blocks out things, stuff bounces off. You're not going to communicate well to me. But when I open my mind, now I start accepting and listening and hearing what you are saying. So many employers, bosses, small business people make the mistake of bombarding their employees on Monday morning. We got to have some work, and we got to do this. Last week we didn't, and this week we're going to, and they feel like they're getting shot at and hit. When in fact, let's get together Monday morning. What I want to first of all tell you is how much I appreciate how hard you worked last week. We achieved some great goals. We have much more to go, but that's why we come to work, isn't it? Something like that. We're opening the minds with positive statements and then asking questions to solidify that. If you could achieve this in this period of time, would that be something you could throw yourself into, get excited about? Those kind of questions. In sales, before I show my product, what I'd like to do is get to know you a little bit to see if there's a fit here. That'd be all right? Even the opening question is a question. And people will say, well, sure. How long have you lived in this home? If it's a home presentation, or if they're in your store or whatever. What brought you into our store? What caused you to get in contact with us? Who referred you to us? Oh yeah, I remember him. Questions for 5 minutes. You need to practice it. Get in front of a mirror and practice your questions. And I'm telling you, if you will do this, you will open minds and you will create a first impression that's so positive because this salesperson is interested in me. This manager is interested in what I have to say. Simply by asking questions for 5 minutes, using that 5-minute time to build rather than destroy the relationship. So, opening the mind and building value in the relationship is the beginning of success in leadership, in sales, in friendships, in every area of our lives. So it's very important then that you ask the right questions, relate to the high values of the person who answers those questions. Yeah, well, that's interesting. I never heard that before. Tell me more. Those kind of questions. And they will sense that you are literally relating to their values, relating to who they are, what they're all about, as opposed to imposing a sales presentation, a sales pitch. That's the old thing. The hard sell, 15 closes, 20 answers to objections, all of those things salespeople have been using for years that literally turn people off. I thought it was interesting, a salesperson used one of his closes and the person he was closing recognized the close. Well, that's the John Goodrich close. Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, I learned that too in a class. Now, the close doesn't work when they start recognizing where it came from. It's supposed to be a part of just conversation, just leading people in the right decisions. Be careful that you're not using things that people can be actually turned off on because it's so planned, so much in hard writing, capital letters, pushy. I'm going to coerce you into buying my product. I'm going to get you to work whether you want to work or not. I'm going to squeeze every bit of blood out of you I can squeeze out. That kind of attitude is not conducive to building good, long-lasting relationships that create repeat and referral business, create a loyalty in a working situation, and a stick-to-itiveness and a drive to please the boss. All those things come from good working relationships rather than pushing somebody. You cannot push people into success. You can lead them into success And the best way to lead people is lead with leading questions. If I could show you a way you could achieve this, would you be interested? If you could see how you could do this, this, and this by simply doing this, would that be something you'd be interested in pursuing? If you could see how this product is going to change this and this and this in your life, would that be something of value to you? Using values to build quality in your product is what true salesmanship is really all about. Because when I feel your product is so valuable, then I gotta have it. I'll find money somewhere. Doesn't matter what the price tag is, I'll get it. First impressions are lasting impressions. First 5 minutes of any interview, whether it's friendships, new acquaintances, business associates, boss, employee, client, all of the above, in the first 5 minutes, you're going to create a first impression. And the interesting part about it, you have total control of creating the right first impression if you ask questions rather than making statements. I wish you great luck in your closing ratio, because that's how you get paid, isn't it? That's how you move up the ladder in management, by being effective and productive. And it starts with building good communication, good relationships, good working relationships. And it starts with the first impression you make on those people you deal with on a day-to-day basis.